Welcome to the Divine Feminine Podcast, where I am your host, Priestess Hanira Abunu. Here I support women in learning and applying the Divine Feminine principles into their lives. We talk about lifestyle, family, culture, and spirituality, all from a traditional African perspective. Welcome to the safe space. So welcome everyone. Welcome. Come on in. Open up the blinds. How you guys doing this week? I'm bringing to you episode 8, another good episode for the Divine Feminine Podcast. Let me just tell you, I apologize for last week. Episode 7. There was such good content. I hope you guys were able to go past the atmosphere and the sound quality and really discipline your listening to get the message and the content that I was bringing last week. But you guys know we're in quarantine day. Who knows what day in quarantine, but yeah, so sometimes I have access to the studio, sometimes not, quarantine issues. But this week we're back in the studio, so I'm bringing to you that quality that you're used to. Content, of course, is there. I missed you guys. How were you? How are you? So yeah, let's, because last week was, the quality wasn't too much there. Let's go over it a little bit. You guys know I do that in every episode. I kind of go over, recap the week before, and then we'll go into some new content. And for this particular week, for this particular episode, we're going to go a little bit deeper into the communal living as a strategy for survival right now. Yeah, we as a community, as a people, as a world, need to strategize and see, what is the best way for us to adjust to this new normal, right? Even though they're opening up the I don't want to say the borders, even though they're opening up society, small, little by little, the parks, the beaches. I think pretty soon certain stores and things will be able to come outside and things like that. There will still be a new normal, and I am one under the impression and belief, and I'm saying it here so you guys mark my words, that although life is opening back up, there's going to be another point where we're going to shut back down. Okay, there's going to be another point where we're going to shut back down, and when we shut back down, it's going to be a stricter quarantine than what we've just experienced. There's a lot of people that maybe don't want to hear that. And I'm sorry if this hurts your ears. You could turn off the podcast now. But for everyone else who is okay with reality and want to hear information so that they can prepare themselves for this reality that we live in, I'm giving you the knowledge that I have been made aware of. And so I'm just kind of sharing with you that now. But for right now, we see that the society is starting to open back up and things of that nature. But we shouldn't get complacent, right? We shouldn't get complacent. We still need to find a way to align ourselves. And so align ourselves with nature, align ourselves with traditional ways. And here we go over traditions from an African perspective. We go over spirituality from an African's perspective, life, culture, all of those things, living, family, all of that. We dive in from the eyes of traditional indigenous African people. And I hope you guys understand my humor. My spirits are high. I'm on day 11. I think it's day 11, day something in May of our May cleanse, May detox. And I will tell you, the first couple days, it took an adjustment. Most of the people in the divine family are doing an alkaline cleanse to raise their vibration and to cleanse their lungs, their blood of toxins, and to have a higher connection with the divine. Most of the people in our divine family tribe are doing an alkaline raise or alkaline cleanse or detox, whatever word you want to use for the month of May. But I tell you, my divinity say, no, not you. What do they say to me? They say, you do water. So I am on day 11 of my water detox. And the first couple days, it took a toll on me. It was a good adjustment. But my intuition, my senses are clear. I tell you, my connection, everything is clearer, and my everything I am attracting instantly. Do you hear me? This is nice. I'm like, all that stuff, that food and toxins was clogging my little portal. I need to let that go. So, I know eventually I'm going to have to eat again. But I am enjoying this process. I'm enjoying my growth, and definitely had some issues where I had to grow and look at myself like, wow, how are you managing this agitation? Because everything is amplified for me. Everything is amplified. So if you say it, like, I'm sensitive to everything right now because of how my vibration is. It's just, I'm so connected. And so if you say something simple to me, man, it could sound like you're yelling or project. I'm super sensitive. I've never really been this way, but I'm hearing things, and nature is coming to me. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. Those of you who have seen me, people are saying, my gosh, you're dropping weight like crazy. Yeah, that's a byproduct of a water fast. You do, shed tons of weight. But that's not the reason I'm doing this, or the reason they told me to do it. My connection to them has strengthened, and that's what has me excited. That's what has me engaged and motivated to finish out the rest of this month. So, I'm gained, not at all. I've lost, I think 18 pounds already. Yeah, and I'm just like, but my body's eating off reserves. I'm a nice, well-rounded African woman, and so I can afford that. I can afford to lose that right now. So I'm on day 11 of the journey, and I'm excited to bring this message to you. But in addition to the detox, in addition to the May cleanse, in addition to even just eating healthy in general, right? Because I think right now that's on everyone's mind with COVID-19, the virus. I think that everyone's like, okay, well, what are natural remedies? In addition to that, in addition to our health, we are going to have to align ourselves with nature in other ways. And we started to go into that last week. What other ways are we going to have to align ourselves with nature in this particular time in order to survive, in order to adjust to this new normal? The new normal, right? What does that look like? And so last week we were talking about, in addition to health changes, how do we adjust to the economic changes? How does this adjust our family? How does our family household survive now? And so last week we dived a little deeper into what that looked like, and I proposed the strategy that I've seen work traditionally in Africa. I've seen traditionally it work in other indigenous areas, and even here in the West. I'm a part of a community that practices the same thing, communal living. And so I'm not posing anything to you that I have not seen myself work here on the West, right? Because some people, that's their criticism. They're, yeah, that worked, in the village, but how is that going to work in the cities? I've seen it work, experienced it working, and I think that it's time for me to share my experiences and what I've seen work for myself, work for other people. There's several groups of people all over the country that are doing communal living. I don't think even some of us are doing a version of communal living, and we may not even realize it. We have to come up with a way to survive. We have to come up with a way not only to, get economic respect, to, any of these other reasons. The main reason right now that should motivate all of us is survival. Survival is key. So it's going to be important for us to do what I call joining forces. We need to join forces and align ourselves. So that's kind of what we talked about last week, is aligning ourselves and joining forces with those who have a common goal, right? And so when you start to put in your communal living structure, there's a couple things you need to put in mind. You need to put what your end goal is. Like, what does everyone want out of this? Seeing the climate right now, if there's children in the home, which there should be, because in the model that I suggested last week, you would have children, parents, and elders. You would have children, parents, and elders. So there would be children in the home. And if you are a single person, you need to pair yourself with a group of people that are working toward the same goal, and there's children and there's elders in the house. If you're an elder living alone, you shouldn't have to. You need to be in a group, not just with your other elder community, but you need to be in a family environment or in a group where there's other generations below you. As an elder, we need your wisdom. And we need from you, and allow us to give and take care of you. So if you're an elder, we don't want you to go to an elder community. We want to take care of you. We want to welcome you a part of the family, because not only are we going to take care of you here, but here goes the spiritual part. We're going to, as you begin further on your transition, and you do transition, we'll take care of you spiritually on the other side. So you need to build that closeness. Now, we need elders in the home. That is a blessing. For those of you who don't know that is a blessing to be able to take care of an elder. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm not going to go further on that. But so you need 3 generations. So if you're living alone, you need to combine your forces, because I guarantee you, if you're living alone right now, with COVID and everything that's going on, you are more likely to have bouts of depression. You're more likely to have suicidal thoughts. You're more likely to, there's more things that you're more susceptible to. And as a strategy, as a community, we can't have people living alone. Not when there's so many people out there that need help. And I'm pretty sure if you're living alone, you're spending a lot of money on things that you don't need to, right? You're probably spending money on eating out. You're probably spending a lot of money on Amazon, on Uber Eats. You're probably spending a lot of money on things you don't necessarily need. You know, yeah, they're luxuries. Yeah, you may be able to afford it, what you think, but can you really afford it when your race is suffering? Why would you not want to help people? And say, oh, well, I donate to nonprofits. I give back, and I do this. No, the only way that we will come up out of the current place that we're in as a people is if we sacrifice and we band together. And some of these larger strategies that our leaders have put into place, they won't work. And you know why they won't work? Because on a smaller scale, on the household, the family scale, we haven't implemented them, right? So you want me to do some of these larger strategies that our leaders have come into, but we don't trust each other as a people, as African people, especially Africans in America. We don't trust each other, right? Because of years of trauma and things that we've suffered as a people. And I'm not saying we don't have a right to not trust each other. I'm not saying there's not reasons there, right? I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is now it's time to rebuild. And we have to rebuild together. And we have to start at the core, which is our family structure, right? And I'm saying this in the Divine Feminine podcast because women, we are in charge of the household. So I'm speaking to you. This is for you to implement, right? The men don't control the household in this way. It's for us to do. It's for us to do. So women, it's for us to use our divine feminine power. It's for us to use that and bring our household together. To bring our household, to align forces. So if you're a woman living alone, you need to, and you have a big place, right? And you have a big place, and you need to have another family move in with you. Yeah, and you guys need to come up with a goal. We're gonna do this for 1, 2, 3 years, okay? And this is what we want to do. We want to build, one small business and get the business off the ground. We want to get the children homeschooled in this way, right? And this is how we're going to pull our resources together and have a goal. Or you say, we're going to pull our resources together and maybe another family, their goal isn't to start a business, but maybe their goal is, to move to Africa. Maybe that's their goal. Shout out to all the women that are coming to Africa with me in August. Sorry, not July, in August. We've already had women sign up and put their deposits down for the August trip. The August trip, it starts August 10th. So you need to plan, and I don't give a date of when it's going to end. And here's why. Because Normally, the trip in July that we were going to have, it was going to be 2 weeks. Okay? It was going to be 2 weeks. But now we have a new agenda. The agenda, yes, is spiritual work. Yes, small tourism. But mainly, we're looking to establish ourselves on the continent. There's women that are coming that want to move, live in Africa, establish businesses, establish their home there. And I'm excited for these women. I'm excited for them. Why am I excited for them? I'm excited for them because they have an opportunity in what they're doing. They have an opportunity to return the blood home. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean like 400 so years ago, there was an African that was taken from Africa. These ladies have a descendant, have an ancestor that was taken from Africa and never saw their land again. When that African died, they weren't given the right burial, the proper burial. The correct rituals weren't done. Their body wasn't returned to their tribe to be buried at their ancestral shrine. No. When that African died, they were just gone. In a foreign land, nothing was done for them, right? Their descendants have since then been in a foreign land. These ladies who are going back to Africa, one of which she's bringing her children, which means her children, her grandchildren now could be here in Africa. First, I don't want to say first generation, but I guess so, first generation returning back to Africa. Her grandchildren could be speaking traditional African languages. Her children, her grandchildren could be learning all the cultural norms, traditions, returning the blood home. That's powerful. That's powerful. Just sit for that for a moment. Just sit with that. Even her herself, even the women themselves. I told them, do you realize that now that you're moving back, when you yourself transition and become an ancestor, your body will be buried on African soil. Full transition. So that ancestor that was taken from the continent back to America, or to America, and their descendants in blood have been there. They never got to come back. And it's one thing to go for the year of return and to spend a vacation there. You know, we all loved going to Ghana last year. We all love partying in Nigeria, Lagos. You know, it's good. But when you really get to the spiritual aspect and you really get to, you know, your reincarnation and your blood and raising your blood correctly, you know, it's more than just a vacation. It's more than just a visit. But I know those things are necessary, right? They're necessary. It's just like when you go to the beach or to the pool and you gotta test the water. You gotta put your feet in first. You put your toes in to see the temperature before you dive right in. So I get it. It was necessary for us to visit and vacation. You know, but now that we visited and we vacationed and we see, you know, that the cities in Africa are just like the metropolitan cities in America. And there's so many opportunities out there. It's time for us to come back. And so now that these ladies are coming back, I was telling her, I said, you now are bringing your blood back home. The African now has returned home. And now we can start to rebuild, and mend what was lost and what was taken from us and torn away from us during that slavery period. And so I'm just so extremely happy for those ladies. And so that's what the tour now in August is about. So maybe there's a household, right? And you say, look, man, they're requiring COVID testing out of everyone. They're requiring vaccinations from everyone. I don't want that for me. I don't want that for us. We need to put a plan in place to where we don't have to deal with this. We need to start planning our exit. So maybe there's a house that comes together of people, and that's their strategy. They do communal living together, and that's their strategy. That's their goal. We're going to repatriate. We're going to move, and this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to continue to work my essential job, right? I'm going to continue to pay these bills, or take the majority of the bulk of the bills, and we're going to save every month this amount of money. And the way this is going to work is that household has to be maintained. The household has to be maintained. What does that look like? What does maintaining the household look like? And this is where, I kind of cut off last week, but there's many things that come into the communal living aspect. There's about 3 or 4 main things you have to put together in addition to your goals. And I'm talking to the women because this is our job, right? I should do a workshop on this because it's hard to get it all in just 1 hour. And next week we're probably going to go into a different topic, but if you guys would like to go through a workshop on this where I can go deeper, you guys let me know. Message me and let me know your thoughts. But there's about 3, maybe 4 things we have to consider when putting together the home. Okay, that communal component. Everyone's needs need to be met, right? And everybody should be working towards a common goal. Everyone needs to sign off on that goal, okay? Because that's what brought you together. And it's important for everyone to sign off on that goal because it's not always going to be easy living communally. Those of us who have lived with roommates or lived communally before, we know that communal living spiritually grows you. It spiritually grows you because you're living with other people and you're having to adjust to their energy. They are constantly adjusting to your energy. There's mood swings. There's challenges that comes up. You start to realize your shortcomings. You start to realize the shortcomings of others, or as I like to call them, the areas of growth. Where can I grow? And I can tell you, in one of the houses that the house that I live in, it's a temple actually, and we have exercises where we ask, show me my ear. Be my reflection. Let me know where I'm short, where I'm falling short, so that I can grow. As a spiritual person, you should always want to, maintain your purity, pure of heart, as much as possible. Always evaluating yourself to remove the corruption in your life. And that means that there are times that someone may have to point that out to you. because maybe it's not evident to you. So when you surround yourself with people who have your same goal in mind, and you align yourself with people who have your same values and see the world similar to you out of the same lens, then you have people that you can depend on, people that you trust, people who know you too, and they know your real intention, right? The real you, and they can help you. And so when their opinions of us are valuable, and so, you want to be open to someone showing you your ear, because you can't see your ear, right? You can't see your ear. Someone has to point that out to you. And in communal living, you will definitely have opportunities to grow, and it will definitely challenge you. But it's good. It grows you. It grows you spiritually. So let's talk about what in the home needs to be focused on, right? We're going to talk about the home. We're going to talk about education, right? We're going to talk about business, and we're going to talk about economics. So those are the 4 things that I want to talk about as far as putting together your communal house, okay? For the home, and this is for the ladies, because this is our work. This is our work as the women of the home. It is the sacrifice of the woman that moves the family along. This is our domain. This is where we thrive, so to speak. And we use our divine feminine powers in order to navigate our mate, our roommates, our spouses, our children, whoever is in the household and is with us. So this is who I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to our women right now. We're going, we go over family and culture and traditions and all of that. And so everything I'm telling you is all from an African perspective, of course. And so in putting together, ladies, your communal home, right? There's things you need to do or have as the main focus in the home, okay? And this is to help with your goal, and whatever your goal is for the house, okay? Say, we gave some examples. Maybe the goal of the house is, starting that small business. Maybe the goal for the house is repatriation, but we know it's going to take a pooling of resources. It's going to take a pooling of talent. It's also going to take a pooling of finances, time, talent, energy, money. It's going to take all of that in order to make this happen. And so how does the house function in order for that goal to be met? All the cooking should be done in the house. All of it. Right? You need to get your Betty Crocker on. There are so many YouTube videos out there. There's TikToks. There's Instagram short clips. There's websites, to help with the cooking. Right? Women, we are all healers. Yeah, I may be a trained traditional healer. I may be a priest. But you know what? You, as a woman, you are the household's resident healer. That is your job. That is what you're supposed to be doing, is healing your family. And we do that multiple ways, right? One of the ways is through cooking. We should be researching recipes, researching herbs, their healing attributes, what vitamins they have, right? How they can benefit the body, and we should be cooking them, right? We're also assessing the people in the family. We're assessing the elders, we're assessing the children, we're assessing our spouse or the other people or other housemates, and saying, what do they need? Are we battling diabetes? Are we battling Alzheimer's? Are we battling hyperactivity? Are we battling depression? Are we battling anemia? Where are we suffering? Where are we short? And those are the herbs that we put in our food. Those are the ways that we cook according to what our family needs. And so all the meals should be cooked at home. That also helps us save money, right? Some of us, and it may be that single person, it may be families, but some of us are eating out way too much. We're eating out, we're spending between $30 to $50 a night, right? I tell you, right now, with quarantine and everything going on, the food industry, although it's had to shift, from dine-in, the takeout and ordering is still thriving. It's still thriving. Okay? Drivers, Uber drivers, they're still thriving. They're considered essential at this point. Why? Because not as many of us as should be, are cooking. We're not cooking like we should be. We're not. And we should be. Right? We can control the food and control the energy also, right? Everything has an energetic component. So even the energy that's going into the food that's being cooked translates into your mood and all of that. So as a side note, ladies, we shouldn't be cooking if we don't feel good. If you're agitated, irritated, if you're mad at your spouse, if you're mad, at the children, you shouldn't be cooking. You'll put that energy into the food. We shouldn't be doing that. All right. Another thing, if we're having our moon cycle, we shouldn't be cooking either. No. That's where we get the other women in the house to cook, or that's where we get our daughters or our children to cook, or, maybe that's the few days that one of the men cook, or maybe that's when we eat out. We should be giving ourselves rest. We should definitely be giving ourselves rest. But if you have to, it's understandable. It's not that you can't cook for your family. You can always cook for your family if you're on your moon. But these are just moments where our energy are fluctuating, right? The energy fluctuates. And so we want to be mindful of that, because we know that energy goes into the food. So we save money, which goes towards our goal. So no one should be eating out. Whoever is working outside of the home, they should have a lunch and snacks. So they don't need to go to the vending machine, none of that. All that comes out the home. The elder, they shouldn't have to go to the senior center to eat. They shouldn't have to order out. No, they shouldn't have to get the prepackaged meals. Meal prep right now is huge. And why is that? Because women, we're not on our job. We're not on our job, ladies. So there's a whole industry that's emerging because we aren't doing our job. So we need to cook and save money, and that'll go towards the job. Towards the goal, that'll go towards the goal. Cleaning and washing the clothes. All of these. Oh gosh. Dry cleaning, no dry cleaning. All right? No dry cleaning. We should be cleaning the home. We should also be farming. We should be farming and growing our own food. I read a letter on the internet the other day, and I'm based in California, and this letter came from the Department of Public Services in California for, I think it was Ventura County. And I don't have the letter in front of me, so I'm paraphrasing, but you guys do your own research and see what I'm saying. But the letter said, it was a letter from the Department of Human and Health Services going out to all its participants in that particular region in California. And it was saying that, in adherence with some emergency government laws that have been put in place for COVID-19, that all of the participants receiving cash aid, food stamps, Medi-Cal, which is known as Medicaid, or the public health system here in California, all of the participants receiving government assistance in that way would have to participate in mandatory government or mandatory COVID testing in order to keep their benefits, right? You have to get tested for COVID. And if you refuse to get tested for COVID-19, they will cut your benefits. So that means that if you are depending on the government for financial assistance, right? And many of us are right now. There's many of us that are depending on government assistance, more of us now depending on government assistance because of COVID than before. So maybe before you weren't on government assistance, but during this time, it's like I'm reinventing myself. I'm not an essential worker. I find myself out of work, and I need to put food on the table the kids need. So I'm needing to have this assistance. There's many of us out there like that right now. And so what the government is doing is taking advantage of that, taking advantage of what they can control, what they do control, right? They're saying, we're not going to give you this money unless you do mandatory testing, unless you get tested. And if you don't get tested, we're cutting your benefits. We're going to cut your benefits until you bring that test in, right? So there'll be many homes with no food, right? For those of you who don't believe in testing, you don't believe in vaccinations, and there's many of us out there. I'm one of them. Those who are aligning ourselves with nature, we know that there's no need for all of this. There's, especially if you're living healthy, there's no need. I'm healthy. My family's healthy. Why would I do this? Right? Why would I put my family subject to this? Right? And we've also seen reports where there have been whole contaminated kits, right? They're whole contaminated kits, and they're giving out false positives. So why am I even going to make myself subject to that? And we're fine. We're not even sick. Now it's branching out to more than just who's sick. It's everyone. We want to know everyone's status. So they want to know who's in your household, and who's sick. And then the letter also said that once you do bring in the test, if you're positive, then we will remove the children out of your home until you can produce a negative result. Wow. And we're doing all of this for the assistance that they're giving us. Wow. Think about that. And I'm in California, and this is in Ventura County. I think it was like Merced MERCED County, and it was saying it's Senate, I think was it Senate Bill HR 6666. You guys look that up and get the details and the particulars yourself. But yeah, so we need to be farming, right? One house needs to be doing tomatoes. One house needs to have a couple avocado trees. Someone needs to be doing the basil, okay? And we need to have our own co-ops. We need to be able to feed ourselves. All of this is done in the house, right? We've been so focused all of these years, so distracted. I swear the system is so good at distracting us. We have been so distracted with going out of the home to make money and what we call surviving and survival, that we haven't been focusing on keeping the home together. And women, I'm doing a call to action to you, because this is our job. The house is our job, so we need to be cooking. We need to be making sure the house is clean. We need to be making sure the clothes are washed. The last thing the people who are having to go out and give their energy to this system to still work need to worry about is whether or not they have clean clothes or not, whether or not they're able to eat. Those simple things, boom, we should be taking care of. We should be taking care of that. We should be doing the farming, right? And so those are all the things in the home that we need to be taking care of, in addition to managing the children, which brings me into the second thing within the home, women, that we need to manage. And we, if we were to do one-on-one, if you're saying, I need help, what you're saying is good, but how does this relate to my circumstance? And what would you suggest for my particular family dynamic and for the group of people that I'm coming together communally to live with in our goal? You guys inbox me, message me, email me, and we can talk about your individual situation. Okay, so talking about the children and managing the children, the major part of that is education. And there's many things that go with the education of the children. Of course, there's the academia, right? So we need to set up the homeschool. Right now, homeschooling is what we're doing across the country. You will have to make a choice. And I'm saying this in episode 8. Quote me, quote me, quote me. You will have to make a choice on which side you're on. Am I for or against? Am I a part of the system or am I not? Right? Am I going to get vaccinations or I'm not? For your children to have to go back to school in August or September, trust me, they will have to take the COVID-19 testing and or vaccinations. I don't know if the vaccinations are ready, but I know they'll have to be tested. I can guarantee. You have to remember that commercial back in the day. I guarantee. I guarantee, okay, that for the kids to go back to school, they will have to take this testing. And so if you are a family who hasn't drawn that line before, there's several families that may be listening to this and they're just like, yeah, we've been homeschooling. This is nothing new for us. But there's millions of Americans who are in a new space, and it's uncomfortable and it's new and it's uncharted territories, and they're trying to figure out, how does this work? How can I do this long term? You are going to have to see. It's really going to test your convictions. It's really going to test your discipline and what you give power to and what you deem is important. Greatly. Okay? Am I willing to have the self-discipline to be able to homeschool and educate my child long term? Or am I going to not face that challenge and not overcome and find a solution and get my child the vaccination and put him back in school? What am I going to do? This is why the destiny of the child is determined by the mother. What am I going to do? Right? You change that child's destiny with major decisions like that. How you choose to live, your quality, whether you choose to face certain things or choose certain things for your child or not, affect that child's destiny. Some of us, our kids have autism because of choices we made. We made the choice to vaccinate them. Unbeknownst to us, we didn't know that vaccinations could cause autism. Maybe we wouldn't have, if we had that knowledge, we wouldn't have vaccinated our children. We wouldn't have given them that MMR shot. All right, but now that it's done, look at the destiny. Look at how we mold and shape that child's life. And I'm not saying this to put shame on any woman. I'm saying this to open your eyes to realize how your decisions impact your children. How you have to be sharp in everything that you do, because it impacts the children's destiny. And so we have to decide. We're going to have to decide this summer, ladies. We're going to have to decide how we are going to educate our children, right? As far as the academia is concerned. So when you're setting up your communal house, educating the children is a part of it. And so the academics is part of it. You're going to have to get their curriculum together. You're going to have to get them a schedule. You're going to have to get them a list of objectives. You're going to have to see where they're deficient. You're going to have to spend that time. You're going to have to link up with other mothers to build a support system. I'm new to this. That's okay. In addition to the academic education, right? We have to be aware that most of what school does is socialization. It teaches children how to behave in society. And so since that would now be our responsibility, which, by the way, that should have always been our responsibility. But since it will be primarily our responsibility now because the kids will be in the home, we need to focus on that. We really need to be mindful of what the kids are exposed to, their manners, right? How we're socializing them, what they're being made aware of. Their culture, learning about their culture. This is all education outside of the mathematics and the language and the reading and writing and literacy and all of those things. All of those things are important, but it's not the only part of education that we're responsible for as women, right? And that also, the socialization also ties into the spiritual education. And all of this is under the umbrella of spiritual education, the socialization, the learning the cultural norms. You should be teaching the kids at a young age a very loose form of ancestral veneration. And I'm not going to go too deep, but for the children, they should know their family tree. Yeah, I said it. That's important, women. It is our job to teach our children their family tree. They need to know who, more than just are their siblings and their the people in their household or their cousins and maybe their close family outside of the household, their aunties and things. They need to know more than that. Yeah, they need to know their whole family tree. And why is this important? How does that tie into ancestral veneration? Why? Because when you start teaching them how to pray and give offerings and things of those natures, when they go to do those things, when they go to pour libations, they should be able to call off every ancestor in their family tree that you've taught them. And it won't be foreign to them. It'll be something they've already memorized because this is who they are. When they're having an issue and, maybe it's an issue with a particular trait, right? When they go to pray and ask for guidance, I need wisdom and help, and I need these doors to be open to me, and they're going to their ancestors on that, they'll know what particular ancestor to call because you've already been teaching them stories about who they are, the people in their family, their grandparents, and the things that they've accomplished in their life, their great-great-grandpa and their aunties and cousins on their mother and father's side. You've been teaching them that, so they'll call on that particular ancestor and say, great-grandpa such and such, I need your help right now. I heard you were in charge of the academic department of XYZ University, and right now I'm challenged in school with these academics, and I need you to be with me. I need you to help me. It'll be second nature to these children because you would have taught them their family history. And you know what else it does? Back to how it all falls under the spiritual umbrella. With socialization, it gives them a confidence. It gives them a confidence and it gives them a pride and a knowing. Right? This is who I am. Do you know who I'm built by? Do you know whose shoulders I stand on? When your child goes into society, they will have a confidence like no other. And they need that. And that is given to them by their parents. Mothers, that is given to them by you. Right? And all of that is education. All of that is an education. There's the spiritual education. We need to be teaching them their family tree. Right? So I think we've done a full hour right now. I was on a roll right there. You guys were with me. This is good. So this is what we're doing now, is putting together our communal house. So just to recap before we end, and putting together our family house, our communal living as a strategy for survival in this time and age. We want to come together with other like-minded people, whether they carry our same blood or they don't. We want to make sure there's 3 generations in the household, and we come up together with a common goal. This common goal is what binds us. We put a time limit on it, and we have this goal. We're going to accomplish this goal in this time frame. Right? And in there's going to be 4 factors, women, us that are taking care of the household, that we're going to need to focus on. Right? We're going to need to focus on the home. We're going to need to focus on educating the children. We're going to need to focus on business and economics. Well, in this episode, I didn't get to go over the business and the economics. I guess we'll have to do that in episode 9. So stay tuned for next week. But in this episode, we went over the home and homeschooling and education. And so that was good. So this has been another successful episode of the Divine Feminine Podcast. It was great speaking with you guys today. Stay connected with us, of course. if you're interested in the trip. We have limited space, but I'm sure we can accommodate. So until next week, be well. To schedule a spiritual reading, life coaching session, or to order herbs and tonics, please see our website, divinefeminine.net. If you would like information on our trip to Africa in August, please email haneraabunu@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to the Divine Feminine Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, share, and join the conversation on social media. You can find us on all social media outlets at Hanera Abunu.